begin with my insights that I've drawn from 26 years of my career in various fields, starting from being a program manager, from being an educator, and the various roles that I've played till date, and currently I'm a researcher as well. So what I believe is important is being in a space of continuous learning, be able to unlearn, relearn at any given point in time, every day of our lives. And that comes from having an adorning and growth mindset, staying curious all the time to be able to learn new things and go on from there. And oftentimes I've seen those who are fixated in their minds fall short of that. And so from my experience, what I see is having a growth mindset and moving on is extremely important. And I would like to speak more from a scriptural point of view today. The endless nature of knowledge. Ancient wisdom says, neti neti. There was a student as in the Upanishadic text, who walked up to his teacher and asked him, how do I attain the ultimate truth? And the answer was, neti neti, not this, not that, from the teacher. It does means that knowledge comes from observing. It's about a constant discovery of what is within and what is without, through the self and about the self. And how does it translate to my current day world in terms of our workspaces and in terms of the educational setup? It's about constant learning and being adaptable to evolve at any given point in time. When we talk about adaptability, let me give you an example. From my experience in the IT industry, I've done various roles. I started from as a technical person. I moved on to becoming a program manager, and then I was heading my own function. So what was really happening there is I had to unlearn a lot of important things that I had learned in the past, which that moment was important, but at a later point in time, all those tools that I had used had to be discarded, and I had to relearn new things as I was moving into new organizations, new teams, new situations, working with new people. So extremely what was important was to be able to unlearn every single day and see what the situation has got to offer, what the people out there has got to offer, and see how that I can adapt to what my expertise is and move on with what was relevant at that point in time. So the key is adaptability. More recently, I got a chance to work as in an educational setup as a researcher. I was helping them with an educational research, trying to figure out like how other schools are operating, what are the pedagogies that could be used and all that. So there was one fine morning I was doing some research, and this girl walks up to me, and she was incidentally I was reporting into her. She was a 25-year-old, and after 25 years of my career I was reporting into her, but she was holding the forte there, and she came and told me, hey, you don't know ChatGPT, why is it that you're doing everything on your own? I said, ChatGPT, why ChatGPT? I mean, what happens to my own knowledge then? What happens to my experience? And this girl says, no, but that reduces your effort by half. And it was true. I had my initial inhibitions. I said, what happens to my natural intelligence then? I mean, why would I have to rely on machines for that? But when I started actually using it, I did not voice it out to her. I thought there would be an element of importance that why she's saying that. And when I started using it, it actually reduced my efforts by half. And it cuts down on all the mundane activities that you'll have to do on a day-to-day basis. And it gives space for learning something that's much more important than having to collect data. So again, the important thing that came out was being able to be flexible, being able to be adaptable to the situation, and moving on with where we are at that given point in time. And at no point in time should the previous expertise or the previous experience that we come from should come in the way of learning more. And that's where the unlearning is quite important. And this is my favorite picture from one of my favorite epics, the Ramayana. And we see Jambavan there in the picture. And we, in the world, we say whoever is wise of all, are the greatest of all in their own fields, we call them as Jambavans. So the reason behind is the wisdom that he carried through his own experience, that knowledge that he applied on himself. The knowledge in books is theory. Knowledge in books, when we apply in our lives, becomes wisdom. And that's what Jambavan is all about. And Hanuman is known to have been skilled, quite skilled, much more than his own Rama. And despite that, he had a lot of siddhis in him, and he could do anything. He had this Anima Siddhi, Mahima Siddhi, he could enlarge himself, he used to shrink himself. He had a lot of other siddhis in him. Despite that, he took the wisdom of Jambavan, he took his advice, And Jamvan said, hey, I know you can fly. He said, no, I can't. He said, no, you can fly. You can fly across the ocean. He took his advice. He unlearned the limiting mind that he had in him at that point in time. He took a giant leap and he crossed the ocean. Not just that. Though he was extremely skilled, though he had all the siddhis, if it was needed for him, he could have flown Sita back. He needn't have waited for Rama and the entire monkey army and he needn't have gone through the entire thing. Why he did not do that? It's because he did not want to overshoot the role that was given to him, though he had the opportunity to do that. And there's a display of humility. So it's all about letting go of old habits and embracing humility at any given point in time, playing the role that is given at that point in time, despite the expertise that you have from the past, in the present, or something that you would like to display in future. Being in the present moment, being able to display humility and adapt to people all around is what takes us places, and that's where there's a lot of learning. You walk into a room, you see a lot of new things coming from the situation, from the university, from the new places that you walk in, from the people you interact with, immaterial of what age group they belong to. And that's been my greatest learning all through. When I transitioned from an IT to an education sector, that's been my greatest learning. And the third thing that I wanted to talk about is curiosity. Curiosity fuels lifelong learning. Einstein said, I have no special talents. I'm just curious all the time. And I'm curious too. Whenever I speak to people every day, I'm curious to know what they have done. I'm curious to know if there's something that I can learn from them. From when I speak to them, there's always something to learn from every person that we meet every single day. And the more we know that we don't know enough. So there's always a learning. The greatest transition I have had is from my movement from the IT space, 20 years of IT space and consulting, into a service industry. I joined the Art of Living Foundation as a writer, as an editor. I was working as an editor of a magazine too. But the way I started, I would say it was not an easy journey at all. It was all about being able to serve, from moving from the space of I to a space of we, moving from a space of I to a space of you. It's all about thinking about the other. It's all about serving the other. I walked into the space. There are times we do a lot of, if you have to clean places, we do clean places. It's a prize place, obviously, so we do a lot of things. And in terms of working in the publications out there, what happened was I had to learn a lot of video creation skills. I had to learn a lot of scripting. And there were times I used to say, yeah, I've never done scripting in the past, and I have no clue how to do scripting at all. But there were people who were telling me, no, you can do it. And I reached a state where I did try to compose some lyrics as well. So, I have a passion for music as well. So what was important is to be able to be in a position where you learn continuously, and that is when the whole gamut of things opens up for you, and you tend to learn new things which you thought was never your forte. Writing, I thought, was never my forte. Writing scripts, I thought, was never my forte. But all these are things that I'm passionate about today. And today, when I get into my writing, I go into a zone, I really go into my meditative zone, where I don't know where the knowledge flows from. And it's all about learning through guidance and evolving beyond the initial instincts that we all have. Instincts are innate, yes, but over time, when the right time comes, it evolves. When there's the right guidance that comes into place. The greatest example is from the Mahabharata here, the scene where Lord Krishna gave his Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. It was in a battlefield. It was not in a place where he was not in a comfortable classroom. It was in a battlefield where he was in a dilemma as to what to do. He was to fight a lot of his own people. And he was extremely skilled. And that's exactly why he was chosen by Krishna. But still, at that point in time, he fumbled. He was on his knees. He dropped his weapons. And Lord Krishna came and said, what is it that you're doing? You need to look at the bigger picture. Something that's extremely important in an educational setup in the corporate world. We do a lot of things on a day-to-day basis. But do we understand the vision? Or do we go into a mode where we start operationally doing a lot of things? The moment we understand the bigger picture, a lot of things flow naturally. The right solutions emerge. And we can offer value to everybody around, for ourselves and for those around us. A gateway to new perspectives, letting go of past identities in new roles. That's all I was talking about all the while. The image out there about the lamp, even under a lamp which spreads light all through, the darkest place lies right below the lamp where the shadows fall. So at any given point in time, Vidya and Avidya stays together. Depending on the phase of evolution that we are in, Avidya could be more, but there's still an element of Avidya, and that's what takes us forward in life, to be able to learn something new every single day. And the Vasanu's knowledge is both humbling and exhilarating, and that's what the Upanishad says. Today I'm a researcher as well, along with delivering lectures. And what I see is Upanishads offer a wealth of knowledge. There's so much to learn, and the vasanas of the universe is unfathomable. The vasanas of the divine principles, the Guru principles, is unfathomable. And when we connect with that, the Guru within ignites. Let's all commit to be lifelong learners. What I would like to say here is, I have always been intrigued by the formula, limit extends to infinity, right from my school days. At that point in time, I was intrigued by the formula, but over a period of time, presently, I'm more in love with the formula, because to me, X is about meeting different people all the time, meeting about the different roles that we play, the different learnings that we have, and each of this, when studied in the breadth and depths of it, leads us to infinity, the ultimate knowledge. With that, I open the floor. Thank you.